Hello viewers, welcome to our program on Immigration and You. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us my law partner David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael. Always glad to be here during this holiday season.
तो ये प्रोग्राम शुरू करने से पहले मैं आपको और आपके परिवार को इस आने वाले नए वर्ष की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं और ऊपर वाले से यही प्रार्थना करते हैं कि आने वाले साल के अंदर आपके बहुत कार्य सब सक्सेसफुल रहें और इमिग्रेशन के अंदर भी काफ़ी जो बेनिफिट्स अनाउंस हो रहे हैं उनका आप फ़ायदा ले सकें। तो यही हमारी ऊपर वाले से प्रार्थना है।
So wishing you all a very happy holiday and all the best of peace and prosperity for the coming new year. Of course, we hope that the new year brings not just the benefits that we've seen for the 4.1 million people who have been served, of course, by the administrative relief announcement by President Obama, but we also hope that everyone else who needs to have their immigration issues taken care of will be able to do that in the 2015 new year.
Very good, David. How did you understand the Hindi? No, your Hindi is getting very better.
Spending too much time in India.
Very nice. So today's program, we're going to talk about a little bit about DAPA that we did last week. And
Exactly.
we're going to talk about the DACA. Basically, DACA is for the childhood arrivals of children. And
which has been around for a while.
A couple of things I want to mention, and then David will give you some more information. First of all, either DACA or DAPA programs are not any path to getting a green card or citizenship.
Exactly.
These are temporary reliefs to defer the deportation. People who are deportable, if the person is illegal, a child or parent is illegally in this country, and he's deportable, if he get arrested, he will be deported. And this may apply even to some of the people already either under the deportation proceedings or they have a deportation order. We'll talk more details about that. So the deferred deportation means that if those people qualify, whether they are children or the parents of green card holders and citizens, they will not be deported. They are not going to arrest them.
Well, yeah, they're not a deportation priority. They don't have the resources to be able to take care of it.
So this applies to people who are deportable.
Exactly.
If they are not deportable, they are in a legal status, then they don't qualify in that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the whole program, and there's a purpose of that is basically not to separate the children from the parents.
Right, family unity.
Especially in this DAPA, we are talking about illegal parents.
Correct.
Who have children who are citizens and green card holders, and that were born before November 20, 2014. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the whole, again, the background.
And who've resided continuously for the 5 years.
Right. So basically, if you go, the underlying policy of the immigration is family reunification, not divide the families. Imagine the child is a citizen, green card holder living here, and they deport the parent. I mean, it's a serious thing, very serious thing. It's a humanitarian thing. And the whole thing about this executive action is humanitarian, because President Obama cannot change the laws. And the deferred deportation, nothing new. Right. This has been there for ever since I started practice before that, 50s and 60s.
Right.
So what President Obama did, he used that existing provision, the law, and just expanded it on humanitarian grounds.
Exactly, and that's the first slide in the presentation that we showed last week. Yes. Was that exactly what it is that President Obama essentially was, he was extending deferred action. He was extending what already exists in the law. It's not an executive order. It's not a bill. It's not a law. It's just extending. It's almost like a reinterpretation of the law more than anything else. Michael, I just want to go back to something you had said, which was kind of interesting to me. You mentioned that it's not going to take you to a green card. However, there is a very interesting loophole, which Michael and I have pointed out in the past, which we do want to discuss because we've seen it used in the in the context of DACA in the past is that if you're an individual who can take advantage of this deferred action, there is a case called Arabelli. It's kind of a strange name, but what it means is that an individual who has this deferred action can apply for a travel permit, leave the country and re-enter as a parolee, and then they can actually get on the road to a green card under some circumstances. Like, for example, they can marry a U.S. citizen. And we actually have many individuals who applied for DACA who have left, come back in as parolees, married U.S. citizens, and have then been able to get on the road to a green card. So, in fact, the president put forth in his memorandum on November 21st, 21st, in one of the memoranda, discusses the Arabelli case and seeks to clarify where this might be able to be used.
So,
yes.
If you don't mind, I want to
Please,
explain
no,
in
please.
Hindi.
Yeah.
जैसे ऐसा है जैसे कि आप यहाँ इस कंट्री के अंदर इलीगल हैं, इलीगल का मतलब ये है इस पर्पस के लिए कि आप बॉर्डर क्रॉस करके आए हैं, क्योंकि अगर आप वीज़ा लेके आए, लीगल एंट्री है, तो यूएस सिटीजन के मैरिज के बाद में आपको यहीं अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, यू डोंट हैव टू गो आउटसाइड। बट आपका अगर एंट्री इलीगल है और आप सेक्शन 245I के अंदर भी क्वालिफाइड नहीं हैं, तो वो लोग यहाँ एडजस्ट नहीं कर सकते और वो अप्लाई वहाँ जाने नहीं जाते, इंडिया जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। उसका भी अलग से हम प्रोग्राम करेंगे नेक्स्ट वन। बट व्हाट मिस्टर डेविड वाज सेइंग कि अगर ये शख्स जो इसके प्रोग्राम के अंदर पेरेंट है, सिटीजन का ग्रीन कार्ड, उसका डाका अप्रूव हो जाता है और वो उसको ट्रैवल की परमिशन मिलती है, तो जब ट्रैवल करके जब जाता है इंडिया तो वापस एंट्री उसकी लीगल हो जाती है और एंट्री लीगल हो गई तो वो एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ स्टेटस कर सकते हैं। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है फॉर सम पीपल। बट व्हाट वुड यू से, आई जस्ट एक्सप्लेन द सेम थिंग, what about those people who are already under deportation orders and they can go out and re-enter?
Well, yeah, we'll come to that. Actually, I'm going to address that.
Sure.
But what I'd like to do is show the slide that we have with regard to DACA, because we did just discuss DACA. So I'd like everyone to have an opportunity to just take a look. This is regarding the expansion of the current DACA program, and these are the most important elements that you need to know about it. Number one is that DACA is expanded, of course. It's going to basically the upper age limit has been eliminated.
It used to be in the older program, it was 31 years, no longer.
Correct. And now they're moving the date back from when you have to be in the United States from, it used to be June 15, 2007. Now it's moved back to January 1st, 2010. So essentially what DACA does now is it opens up this program for potentially another, I believe that they were talking about almost doubling or tripling the number of people who are going to be able to apply.
So somebody came, let's say, December of 2009. And the requirement is from January 1 to
Right. Well, before they wouldn't have been able to take care of it, but now they can apply under this new program. So this is wonderful. It gives work authorization to individuals and, again, the ability to travel. Let me come to your other question, Michael, which is a great...
This applies to both, as well as the DACA or ADAPA. The
2005.
2010 to 15 requirement.
Right, 2010. Yeah, exactly.
It's a big one.
Right, it's huge. The number of people that get swept in is very big. Now let me come to your question, because it's an excellent question about what is the administrative relief that's available through all of these programs for individuals who are either, number one, being detained by ICE.
Correct.
Number two, might be under an order, a final order.
Correct.
Or let's say someone who got a final order, left the United States, and then came back in. So each one of them, of course, and I caution our viewers to, of course, see a qualified immigration professional. There are a lot of scammers out there who are going to try to take advantage. We've always said, be very careful, but here's the thing. There may be opportunities for you to administratively close your cases. And what's happening now, and we know that they are actually administratively closing the cases, what we call sua sponte, on their own. So, in fact, I was just recently speaking to a colleague who has a case where an individual had had a final order, left the country, came back in, and then was put into detention, and they actually let the person out because they did qualify for the DAPA program. So what's really exciting about it is, one, it seems to be that it's actually happening.
Right.
And
So
what a
don't-
wonderful holiday gift
Yeah, so
to come out
I'm
of
telling
detention.
the viewers that it's very important. These issues, you have to sit down with a very experienced lawyer who knows about all this and put you on a right path of going forward. Don't
Exactly.
say, oh, हमने देखा था, David Nachman said that, this Michael Fulwani said that on the TV, so that's what we did on our own. I think it's a good idea, definitely, to listen to us, but you have to really have a legal consultations and a proper plan to do.
Right, and there are definitely nuances to this program. Obviously, one of the things you're going to want to look at is it's now DACA is going to be granted in 3-year increment, so that's great. In the 3-year increment, you're going to be able to get work authorization. That's what's actually happening, is that our DACA cases are now being granted for the full 3 years.
When is
which
this going to be
terrific.
implemented, both DACA and DAPA?
Well, that's
DACA
on
is
that-
already implemented.
Yes, well, on that slide, if we come back to that slide that we were showing before, the DACA slide, this is slotted to be implemented within 90 days of the announcement,
Correct.
which was on November 20th and 21st. So this will hopefully come into effect February 20th of 2015. Now, if it follows the template that DACA rolled out on, we probably will have a form sometime in January. And of course, it's our understanding, of course, the form won't be any different than the other form that was used. So you'll have to do an I-765.
You are talking about DACA forms or the DAPA forms?
DACA forms. So it'll roll out in February. And DAPA, as I had mentioned in our previous program, DAPA was scheduled to roll out in May 20th of 2015. Now, of course, all of this pens the possibility that the administrative relief could be trumped by something that Congress does, which we have no control over, of course, but you have to remember that this whole thing was very political. The president thought this out very carefully because he did it in such a way to box the Republicans into doing something with the law, and that's something that we, of course, can talk about.
What we are doing today in these programs, or the previous one or the new ones, it's giving you the highlights of the executive action. Believe me, I think we are all waiting anxiously in the coming months, the detailed guidelines, the instructions, the forms, the fees, how they have to be applied, what documentation that we'll be submitting. We have pretty good ideas, we'll talk about that. But basically, a lot may go forward in the coming weeks, coming months, and we will be coming on ITV and giving you all that information.
Exactly, and it's so important that as this information starts to unfold, and again, immigration has always been a political football, and it changes on now a daily basis. So what we're going to try to do is to provide the most cutting-edge information that we can.
I have one more question.
Yes, Michael.
What is this giving to them? It's not a permission to stay, but more or less you can say nobody's going to disturb you or arrest you or detain you if you have a DACA approval.
Exactly.
Number one. They'll all get a permission to work, EAD.
Right,
under
assuming
which
they
can-
meet the criteria.
As soon as the criteria.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I think, so far the travel is concerned, they have to apply separately after getting you cannot just submit the travel application together with it.
That's right.
Once your case is approved,
Right.
then you can apply, and I think you still may have to give some kind of good reason to travel.
That's right.
And we believe that they'll be doing that liberally, and once you get a permission to travel, if you travel back home to India, either for an immigrant visa interview there,
Or any other country.
or any other urgent reasons,
Yeah.
and you come back, you're not going to be subject to the 10-year bar.
Correct.
That's the other important thing is
That's
that,
right, because
remember we said in so many programs, if you stayed here illegally for more than 1 year, you go out and come back, you'll be subject to a 10-year bar.
That's right.
That's good news. The entry coming back is a legal entry which will permit them to adjust their status under any category in which they are qualified. And visa numbers are available and all other things.
Exactly. So these are all very exciting developments. Of course, again, it still remains to be seen how several of the nuances are going to affect our viewers. But again, we're going to do our best to try to present that information. Michael, I see that we're running short on time. Obviously, one of the things that we wanted to try to cover today was the provisional waiver expansion. But what we'll do is we'll come back and discuss that in our next program. And hopefully some of that also, that information will be useful to our viewers because and again, the provisional waiver expansion goes to family unity. So it's very closely connected to DACA and DAPA. And then we'll also talk about some of the business-related administrative relief.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you,
for
Michael.
coming on the program. We will come every week, Saturday and Sunday at 11:40 a.m., 11:45 a.m., giving you the most latest information. Believe us, we are watching like a hawk, everything that is happening. So anything that happens, we rush into ITV studio here and give you the most latest information and guidance. In the meantime, feel free to send us an email and call us if you have any questions. Thank you very much and goodbye.